let's get you comfortable in GitHub and using an IDE. I think both are going to be very helpful for anybody trying to do work with any sort of AI agents in the future. So today in this video, we are going to be using this public template that I created. We're going to be using it, making sure that you have GitHub Desktop, which is really easy to see all your different changes that are being made in real time, pushing those changes to GitHub. And then if you want even deeper information about how to use each of the files within this starter here, I also had that linked on my blog, which you can read about in a little bit more detail. And you can go through your own little rabbit hole of exploration based off of what sticks out to you and what starts getting you into your own little flow of like, ooh, let me think of this. Let me do this real quick. So let's get started. Before we get started, you will need a GitHub account. GitHub is free. It's a Microsoft open source project. It's a great way of storing all of your code, but it's also a really great way to store all of your small markdown files as well. So just get to github.com and sign up if you haven't already. And definitely remember to turn on two-factor authentication, just because that's always a good practice. Once you're signed in, you're going to want to download GitHub Desktop. You can go to github.com, apps, desktop. I'm going to download now. Let's do this in real time. I have an Apple Silicon chip on this computer, and I uninstalled it for you guys just to do it with you, show you it's not that hard. And this is going to allow you to not have to use the terminal to keep up with your version control. And that's all GitHub is, your version control. Let this install. There's tons of resources, documents. That's why I usually recommend GitHub Docs to most people, or GitHub Docs actually, yeah, but did GitHub Desktop to most people. It's really easy to use. So we'll let this install and I will open it up. Alright, that has downloaded. Let's unzip it. And get that installed. Open. Alright, and it's going to have you sign in to GitHub that way. Continue. Always allow. Bada bing, bada boom. You are finished. I just used my same settings. Actually, I do like to change my email. Oh, move and restart. I'll allow. So if you're on Mac, automatically move that to your applications folder first. Boom. So let's open my brain. That's my main repository. Or, oh, here, let's add a existing repository for my local file. So let's choose my brain. success. And so now what we can do is we want to change our code editor this is the GitHub Desktop. So we are going to go to settings. You could also go to it here. It has a link. Integrations. And so you want to do your shell. I just keep that in my terminal for now. External editor. This is where you can change it to cursor if you have cursor installed. Save, and now we can have an open in cursor. So now my brain here, let's fetch the origin real quick. Open in cursor. There it is. That's my brain. And you can add additional repositories to your list of active projects, for example. So I could add a brand new repository if I wanted to, that could then talk to GitHub, or I can add another existing repository. For example, my main website here. And so now I have both of my projects available that way. And you can keep adding until you have all of them there. And if you ever need to remove one, you can always right click and even remove that from the list. So here we have our rhythms document that I mention on the blog. All of these documents go into more detail on the blog, but help you set up your own rhythms and start thinking about your own automation playbook, workflow, etc. But also what you want to create as templates. So here I have a example of a event confirmation template, and so any sort of new email workflow that I create, I'm going to make a copy of it in this repository every time. And that just keeps everything helpful for me and future me, but also for the current and future AI agents or human help that does look at the project in the future. They can get an idea of how everything flows together. So having this one spot, even if it's on all these plain text documents, it allows us to create that playbook over time. And so now let's update and practice what committing to GitHub would look like. Go to one of your pages here and we're going to make a change. So let's go to my rhythms, and I'm just going to delete the example refresh just so there's some sort of change there. I'm going to save, Command S. Okay, and now I'm going to go to GitHub Desktop here, and in the same repository that I'm in, my template, I have a couple changes. I answered a question in the automation playbook. I made a little change here. And this is how we are going to this is how we're going to create a time capsule of this change and then push it to GitHub. So we're going to call this sample commit. Oftentimes I'll do something like emails Friday, like after a batch of work or something like that. This is just a summary of any changes that you made. So we'll call this a quick commit. If you want to add additional text to go with this for future you can do that in the description as well. A commit is usually only a couple of words long. A description can be a little bit longer. So now we're going to just use GitHub Desktop here. We're going to commit those two files to main, and then we're just going to push origin. And what that means is we can view this on GitHub, and you will be able to see that initial commit, or that quick commit, was created now with those changes that we just made. And now we can keep that going on this version on GitHub, as well as our local version on our computer. So that's how you can keep your workflow synced within GitHub. And then when you need to transfer this folder to a different IDE or a different tool, you have all of these versions and files available to you to use in a variety of different tools. Cursor itself and VS Code, whatever IDE you're using, is going to have a source like changes as well. So you can see these changes in your left-hand panel. If you go to this kind of represents like forking a branch and commits. So that's what this is here. So like I don't have an agent review, but you can see this latest commit that we just did as well. That's kind of like more advanced way to commit everything as well. I really recommend beginners start with GitHub Desktop. Does a great job. And you can also go to settings, appearance. There is a dark mode for it as well, of course. Alright, so you have a new template created. We have that on your brand new GitHub account. We have GitHub Desktop installed. If you want more information about GitHub, check out my blog, GitHub Basics Profile README. It gives you a project to do and some helpful diagrams on how commits work if you'd like that broken down. If you'd like more information about the file that you created, that repository, that is going to be in From Files to Playbook, and that is going to have all of the additional information about how to start using your AI agent from that repository, creating additional templates with the templates that are there, and it's going to be totally unique for you, right? But I hope you have fun with that and let me know how that goes. If you'd like more resources and fun stuff from me, I am the Pythonist programmer on most of the non-meta social medias, mostly on Blue Sky for right now. And if you'd like more information, more resources from me, I have them all for free on my website. So definitely go and check that out. Be sure to subscribe, like, all the good stuff. And I will see you next time. Bye.